How do you plead, Mr. Manning?
I am not guilty.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to request bail. I do not...
The person who did those things is not me.
He's gonna blame it all on Heather Weber.
Me on a very generous retainer to speak for you. That's what I need you to let me do now, all right? I need you to let me do my job. Don't say anything. Just sit there. I'm going to do damage control.
Mr. Manning, you're saying that someone else committed these crimes?
If I may, Your Honor. Mr. Manning has maintained all along that the blame lies with his accomplice, Heather Weber. And while Miss Weber may have helped him to switch the babies, she certainly didn't help to bribe a police officer or to try and escape.
I'm not blaming Heather. Although, it's all completely her fault.
Then who are you blaming, Mr. Manning?
We have eyewitnesses. We have a documented recording. So if Mr. Manning isn't blaming Heather Weber...
Heather Weber is guilty as hell because Heather Weber is crazy as hell. Only a crazy person would take somebody's baby and give it to somebody else. Only a crazy person would try and bribe a police officer or try and run away from a hospital when there was a guard less than 10 feet away.
Manning.
That is my point. If you do crazy things, you're a crazy person. I'm pleading not guilty because I'm insane.
I request at this time that my client be allowed to take the stand in his own defense.
Objection, Your Honor. This is an arraignment, not a trial.
These are very unique circumstances, Your Honor, and notwithstanding the DA's attempt to spit polish his own career and railroad my client, we could save the taxpayers a great deal of time and expense. We wouldn't even need a trial if my client could simply be allowed to explain.
Why didn't he explain to the police?
He tried. But neither of the arresting officers, neither Detective Dante Falconeri nor Detective John McBain, who happens to be present today in court, were interested in listening to my client. They weren't interested in getting to the truth. That's why we're here today. May my client please be allowed to simply speak.
Very well. Mr. Manning, you may take the stand, but I caution you not to waste the court's time.
Your Honor, my client, Todd Manning, suffers from severe PTSD. And yes, there is precedent. When he was charged with the death of his brother, his twin brother, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity due to severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and this was sustained during 8 years of imprisonment by his mother in a cell where he was systematically tortured.
Stop. Cut it out. Look, I killed my mother. I killed my brother. I've done terrible things. They're all a matter of public record. That's not what we're here to talk about. When I do something terrible, I always feel like it's not really me who does the terrible things. It's very hard for me to describe. I always have this voice in my head that tells me that I shouldn't do it. And isn't that the definition of insanity, right? Having a voice inside my head? I was in the woods, in the middle of a storm with my ex-wife, and she's having a baby, my brother's baby, my brother who I killed, and the baby dies in my arms.
It's okay. Just take a moment. Your Honor, when Taya Delgado's baby died, my client was so traumatized that his stress disorder resurfaced. He did not want to cause Taya Delgado, his ex-wife, any further pain and suffering. Taya Delgado claimed the wrong baby from the start. There was no malicious intent on the part of Todd Manning to baby switch.
Excuse me. Am I hearing this correctly? Are you saying the switch happened by accident?
Your Honor, if I may be allowed to continue?
Mr. Campbell, I'm granting Ms. Miller and her client a little leeway. That doesn't mean we have a free-for-all. Ms. Miller?
Thank you, Your Honor. It was Heather Weber who took full, deliberate advantage of my client's fragile mental condition. Heather Weber, in order to pursue an aggressive agenda against Samantha Morgan. Heather Weber, who coerced my client into participating in switching the babies.
Your Honor, Heather Weber is not being arraigned here.
Yes, Mr. Campbell, we're all aware of that fact. Move it along, Miss Miller.
Your Honor, when my client found himself imprisoned for a kidnapping, he did not commit, trapped again in a jail cell as he had been for those 8 long years by his mother. He snapped. His stress disorder resurfaced again. That is why he attempted to bribe Detective McBain. That is why he attempted to flee the hospital after being beaten half to death by his cellmate. He is in the grip of severe PTSD, Your Honor. He does not need more prison time. He needs psychiatric help.
I object. I know that Mr. Manning is not suffering from PTSD.
Your Honor, this woman is not a
I want
psychiatrist.
to hear this. Are you a psychiatrist?
No, but I've spent a good deal of time with Mr. Manning over the last few months. I've had a chance to observe, and I know that he is in his right mind.
I'm not.
So you're saying that nothing we had was real? That the PTSD is the reason you said and did everything?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So it just comes and goes?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. Todd, you have to take responsibility for your choices, good or bad, right or wrong. Or you have to deny it all, including me.
No, I know that what we had was real. I know that. I know that I was never more together than when I was with you. I fell in love with you, Carly. I know that.
Todd, you have to admit to what you did. And you have to trust me to stand by you. Everyone lies, everyone makes mistakes, but you gotta own what you did. I wanna believe in you. I wanna believe in us. Say you weren't crazy.
Isn't it a little crazy? Be with you? Keep myself from you? Isn't it a little crazy to not be able to trust you? Not be able to tell you my truth? That's crazy, right? I'm guilty of that.
Mr. Manning, are you changing your plea?
No. I'm a crazy person. I'd like to plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
Step down, Mr. Manning. Sit down, Mr. Manning.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. I'm sorry you're not the man I thought you were.
Oh, boy. You want to know the best part? You did this to yourself.
You sure you're doing the right thing?
No. But you know, the right thing has always... it's always been just outside my reach.
But congratulations on the win.
No one wins these things.
Well, Todd lied in court. I've done it myself quite a few times. You think it's gonna work?
Even if he walks, he lost you. All the suffering he caused other people. Now it's his turn.
Your Honor, Mr. Manning is clearly lying to the court.
Your Honor, I object. My client has a
Overruled.
document. Your Honor, my client has given you his full cooperation.
I've made my decision, Miss Miller. Given the defendant's history, I'm remanding Mr. Manning to the Ferncliff Institute for the Criminally Insane for a full psychiatric evaluation. We'll reconvene when the doctors present their findings.
Congratulations. You got what you wanted.
I didn't get anything I want. At least I'm not going to prison.
Not for the time being, of course. Will depend on the doctors.
Please. I could fool a doctor in my sleep.
I don't know where you were treated before, but I gotta warn you, Ferncliff's no picnic.